That sounds like I'm going to go blam something, and I've never blam something in my life.
Hey, we're in, you know.
Yes,
Sir.
indeed.
Oh my god.
What you saying? We starting?
Shit, then. We're back.
We're back.
It's actually crazy.
Well, let's introduce it properly. Good evening, people.
Yo.
It's meant to be good afternoon, but we'll talk about that
We're in the
another
evening,
time.
we're in the evening. Let's be real.
We'll talk about that another time. Good evening, people. Habari Gadi, Hotel, everything. Wagwan. We're back. I am El Ants. You lot might know me as Lewis. Who are you, sir? Introduce yourself.
Jerry the Kid, aka Return of the Kid. What's good?
Wow. Wait. And just in case you didn't know, just in case this is your first time tuning in, this is the Experimentation Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Bow!
Yes,
We're
sir.
back. I know you lot haven't probably seen us before in our real life. Yeah, I know I'm sexy. Like, say it's... I know it's going to be bare comments on the... Like, bro, but this is... Yeah, I know this already. Sort that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, how have you been doing, fine, sir? It's been a second.
Technically, I mean, we've been here the whole time. So
I mean,
stop
this, man.
Nah, cause we've been here for time, innit? We've been here for time, man. But I'm good, man. I'm good. I've been good. Things have been happening since the last time we even recorded, bro. It's been a minute.
From the last time we recorded, it feels like a year.
Ages,
bro.
A whole lot. Like it's crazy. But I'm currently doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm like as I usually say on this podcast, I'm blessed, black and highly favoured. I'm alright.
Yes, sir.
I'm just working through, you know what I'm saying? I'm working through. But just quick note, I appreciate everyone that has listened to something that we put out.
Yeah, man.
Because that surprise, it did hit me the amount of people that have gone, oh, your platform and I said, bro, like I didn't know it did. Even though it's not like I'm hearing big numbers yet.
No, yeah. It's not even about
those
the numbers.
individual messages I've got, and you lot know who you are. Those individual messages are like proper done me good. It's like, it made me with a firmer resolve, a more passionate, a more forthright resolve to just continue what we're doing and not compromise. But I feel like I'm not going to get onto that point yet because I feel like it'll be later on in the discussion we'll delve into that topic more. But
but for real, like even from my point of view, it means a lot that I can even just talk about it as a thing that I'm doing. Like it just started off as like a hobby. It was just like, yeah, like we're just going into it, we'll just do it and then we'll see what happens. And then, you know, the fact that like I can go to people and be like, yeah, so you know, I'll do a podcast. They go, oh wow, that's pretty good. Like, what do you guys talk about? What do you like? What's the and I'm like, yeah, like I'm explaining it, and it's like a real thing. Like it's nice. And to all the people that listen to it and just let me know that they you know, they like what I'm doing and they support the thing. I appreciate it.
Big you lot up. Hold tight, all the supporters them. Like whether it's 10, it's 20, it's 5, or if there's 2 loyal listeners.
Bro,
I love
big
it. Man team, we love you.
You don't want to sit and listen to us talk for time. It's like,
yeah, we talk for long, bro.
Us. Like, you actually must love us. It's crazy.
I appreciate it though, for real.
But yeah, man.
You raised a good point about why we did this, and I think that's a brilliant question. Why, for you, did you feel like this platform was needed?
It's crazy. I mean, I feel like that's got to be a thing when we start from like who we are. First of all, because the main thing when we started this podcast, we didn't really take too much time to think about it first. We just went, we got bare stuff to talk about. Let's just jump on the podcast and do it.
Yeah,
and we were in a space where like, you know, we didn't. Everyone's like back. The pandemic is happening. You know, not a lot's going on. Everyone has to kind of make do with what they've got right now.
Yes.
And there was a lot of people around us just starting up their own, still doing music even more than they were probably before because they realised, oh, now is the time to be doing something, innit?
And like, make the errors. So when you come back into the light, it's like, wow.
Exactly.
What I just heard is 10 times above what I heard when pre-COVID. But that's because man have been in the mountains. Man have been in the lab. Locked in, bro.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's come from where the podcast stemmed from for me personally. I'll start with myself because I can't talk for you, so I'm going to let you go after.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is that the music, because people may know me as fundamentally a musician, right? I used to make music or whatever. It's like that lockdown hit me quite hard. It's like, cool, what do I do now? Because I'm studying. Now I've finished studying, I get into my reading and everything, which people who have me on Instagram know the type of posts and content I push out. Does that make sense? So I just felt, I need a way to amplify my own voice on my own platform, not waiting around for someone to give me a job or give me something.
Yeah.
I can start this, and why don't I just buy the mic? I'm gonna spend it on something silly anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Why not buy a mic? Why not do it? Why not take the leap of faith? Because I have something important to say. Why not say it? And me and you, I think it's important to get to the genesis, the beginning. We were having these type of conversations on the phone for long. And it wasn't like a couple weeks where we was going just back and forth.
Back and forth. I don't know what happened. I think because you'd finished uni at the time, it was kind of, we were both in a space of like, nothing's going on really for us. Like, we're just in a sort of stasis of like, shit, like, where are we at? Like, what's going on? I think I was like looking for work, but I wasn't really like in the mindset of working. And because there were things that I sort of saw for my future, for myself, like what I wanted to do, like putting it into action and then actually trying to like go for it, like it was just weird. Like I just had time to myself to really like sit down and think properly, because I graduated the year before and then I had like a little part-time thing, like temporarily, and then after that left, went on holiday, came back in early February, and then it was kind of just like, right, what am I gonna do now? So I had to sit and just, things are happening kind of fast, innit? Because obviously like just before COVID, it was just like, you know, get work, tried to do something, innit? Then COVID hit and it was kind of like,
everything slowed down, innit?
Slowed down, but
the way everything slowed down was insane.
It was insane, but it was so good because it was like, okay, like I can actually take time and think. Like no one's doing anything. No one can push you to say you should be doing this, you should be doing that, because no one can do anything really. Like not really. You can
in
be
the
like,
same way, and we're still all adapting.
Exactly. So because we were both in that space, we just, I don't even remember like a specific conversation, but we were just talking, and every so often we would just be in a conversation. Probably like JJ was in one of the conversations as well, and you would just be in the middle of it like, bro, we should be doing a podcast. Like we should actually just sit down and like get to doing a podcast. And I'd be like, yeah. And it happened every so often to the point where it was like, you know what? Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Because if I'm gonna be doing everything else after that, which is new territory to me, like the things that I'm trying to get into now, the podcast would just be a part of it, and it would be a good part of it as well, because I'm able to come on a platform and talk about things that I don't normally talk about on a public space.
And it's ours.
And it's ours.
Of course, you have those different elements of the Spotify and whatever. So technically, it's not technically ours if you want to get into the semantics. But in terms of what we talk about in terms of our own show, that is ours. And I want that point to be important, because as we both enter into a new world, because we're both going to enter into a corporate world in the future, to a certain extent, I want the message to be very clear that despite where we go or where you even might see us, the content ain't going to really change.
Yeah.
Because I think the platform doesn't need to be compromised. And I feel like I stand strong on that point.
Yep.
And I think, Gerard, I'm not going to talk for him. You can answer for me. So you can answer for yourself, bro, how you feel about that. Because I don't want there to be a compromise just because man are doing in this building or man are in that building and I'm shoulders next to this person.
Yeah.
Just because it might not be the main talking point. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's what the disclaimer's gonna be for when we put it up eventually, because
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're gonna be in spaces where, like, you know, we have our own opinions, and we're, you know, we want to share it, but we want to share it in a safe and, you know, like in a safe way, essentially, because we don't want to be, you know, spewing out like anything that might come across hateful. Even though it's not hateful, we're just speaking on things that we know our opinions are based on fact that we read about as well. And to have that space, that means a lot to us. Just as a right, you know, to be able to speak on these kind of things. Like, you know, the freedom of speech thing is such a very techie conversation, and it's just it's dumb to even have. But the fact, just on the basis of like we can have our own safe space to discuss the things that we care about, you know, we want to be able to do that. And so, yeah, like that's just gonna be something that we'd have to navigate going forward. And definitely when we put the disclaimer up, it's like we joke about it, but it's a thing where like we tell people that we're in the corporate spaces they need to recognize that, like, you know, you can't just come up to me and talk about, oh, well, we saw you post this, and, you know, did you really say this? It's like, well, you knew what was going on before, because when you click on the video, you will hear this is going to be something that's it might be controversial to you. You might not agree with it, but that's just our viewpoints. Especially, and we have the right to share it on a social platform. Just as you have the right to share your views on a social platform, I'm not going to judge you for it or stick anything on you. I'm going to let you say what you want to say, but you got to do the same for me. So
I wholeheartedly concur. Off of the simple basis that what most of the things I say are based on information and reading. I don't come here and talk out of my, you know what I'm saying? I don't come here and talk nonsense. Is that my phone?
Yeah.
I'm airing that. Anyway, I'm airing that because it's probably not important. Alright, I don't even know where that is, bro. I don't actually know where it is. That's the wickedest thing. Is it in my pocket? Oh, that's not important, bro. Oh,
The sweetest one.
that was important.
The sweetest one.
Nah,
Listen, guys.
you know where
guys.
it was? I really thought that could have been business. Swear down. So I
and
looked
you
here for a
would've had to leave the
second. I'm
room,
cussing. So I'm thinking, nah. Like,
Oh shit, man! I gotta leave the room as business.
yeah. In fact, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Apologies for that,
Let
guys.
me do the same as well, because if Martin vibe,
Because yeah, that's gonna be a bit jarring if that happens more than once.
But yeah, listen, guys, we have to even acknowledge we got visuals now, bro. We got visuals.
We actually didn't
We
do
got
that
visuals.
properly.
We got
I'm here.
visuals.
I just got my shot.
I'm here. You can see my lovely face. You can see El's lovely face.
Yeah, come on, man.
All courtesy of our good friend JJ.
Who's an actual visionary, I'll add. I'll let you know. If you watch a music video he's directed, comes out or a movie, blood. You see it? Nah, but genuinely, in terms of JJ in this space, and I'm very thankful that he's been allowed.
I'm glad, man. Look at it.
It's kind of sweet still.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
The culture, the cushions and that, you know what I mean? Like, it's set up for the future. It's set up for what we want to do as well.
Literally.
Like, the stuff we're going to get into is crazy. And it's mad. Like, from where we even started, like, I didn't know how far it was going to go. Like,
Me either, to be honest.
I'm just here sitting in my room with a microphone in front of me, just talking bare. For like long as well, like them hours that I had to edit for the thing, it was crazy. But
Go
yeah, just where we're reaching now is, I'm just very, very excited.
Yeah, I gotta thank Jerry because I've done this in person, but on the podcast he handles all of the editing work, and it wasn't really by choice either, to be honest. But that's a separate discussion. What I will say, I appreciate that because that's why I say there would be no podcast without Jerry. Because that key essential component there, aside from his even podcast contributions, which in itself provide the balance, because people who know me know the perspective I come from and how strong I might sound to some people. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just the fact that he does all that behind the scenes work, and I think it should be praised on the podcast. Because if he wasn't doing that, there wouldn't be any podcast. You know what I'm saying?
That.
So I'm due to give you a black hand, so I'm gonna give you a black hand. Come on, let's give Jerry a black hand. Quickly, come on, man.
What's the black hand?
A black hand is giving somebody a clap, boy. Let's go. Hey, come on, give yourself a black hand, man. Let's go. Come on, man. We're
I
there.
appreciate it, man. But thank God I ain't doing the editing now, because boy,
It's
I was tired. But no, thank you for JJ for
Literally appreciate
jumping on and being a part of this as well. We definitely appreciate it. And Lewis as well, man. I gotta give you a black hand. For being a very, very strong part of the podcast. In the same way, it wouldn't be what it is without you. It wouldn't exist without you, because you're the very one that came up with the concept of doing. Well, not podcasting, but us two doing a podcast.
Yeah, literally.
Like we.
Yeah, he created the
Us,
concept.
yeah, like
I'll
Lewis,
take credit.
You won't be with us.
yeah, I know he'll be a big man, but yeah, us, doing the whole podcasting thing, it would have just been us having conversations and just talking, but he was the very one that said, he had the initiative to come up and say, let's do the podcast thing, like, let's actually. You bought a mic as well.
You know what it is? I'm so surprised at myself because I always bring up this anecdote. This story to tell people, if you want to do something, you will do it. I say, for years, people always told me, get a mic, get a home set up for music. It'll be hard. What, you make music? Why don't you do it at home? It's far cheaper. I gave everyone every excuse in the rule book. I preferred being in the studio. It's too expensive.
I was definitely part of that group as well. I was definitely saying, bro, get a mic, get a mic.
Yeah.
I remember.
I prefer being in the studio. I prefer, it's less money. I gave an array and abundance, a multitude of excuses of why I didn't do it. With this podcast, I bought the mic within 2-3 days.
Yeah.
I gave in about 2-3 days, and we started recording, a couple of days after that, didn't we? Literally.
Yeah. It was, like, that was a practice one, innit? But it was just, even then, it was the speed at which we did it. It was kind of just like, just jump, like, no one needed like a coaxing or just like a bro, just do it. We just did it.
Yeah.
It just happened.
What was this in quarantine?
Yeah.
It was all of it was in quarantine.
Like this. It came after we were sort of like let out a little bit.
It was around the time of your birthday.
Like a little.
We defo recorded some.
Yeah.
In and around that time of your birthday, Claudia's
that
birthday.
summer was live over there.
It was
We
still.
had a couple motives there still.
It really was. Oh
You
my
know what I
Lord.
mean? But no,
Yeah.
you referred to how season 1 went, right? Or the stuff we got planned, per se.
Let's talk about season 1, man, because that in itself was a journey. Like,
That
was a whole journey.
crazy journey.
Before you not going deep in it, this is going to
You know what I'm saying? But season 1 was Gaia.
We've been here for hours. I'm just letting you know.
Literally. But you talk about season 1 and the journey we had. I think it was quite a mesmerizing one. And that might sound a bit over the top, people might say. But I think just how my own perspective changed in that time. From when I started it to the end of season 1, I went through a journey of technically becoming a researcher. Very minute microcosm of it. But it was definitely a scale of I'm looking through different sources. I'm going to books. I'm like, I'm actually putting in the work to research for these topics and coming. And the fact we handled very big topics. We handled very tragic.
What was the kind of like goal for you, like when you started it? Because I know when you were having these conversations, at first you were just reading and just like finding things out about a lot about like Black history and a lot of what was going on and the sort of meaning behind it. But because you know us two talking was like, you know, we're talking and we're just trying to have the conversations. But then what did you see sort of being the end goal for you starting the podcast?
I saw the end goal as being a safe space for Black people, but a space where we can come and directly confront issues concerning us, or just voicing our voices in a space that's not corporate, that you don't have to. Because I think code switching is dead. I think we need to throw code switching into the ash cans of history. I don't deal with that on here anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel enough times we suppress ourselves to make everyone else feel comfortable. And I think as I was reading and getting more into it, I was like, we got such a rich, beautiful history on top of the stuff that we're all doing now. It's like, and you need to think about the zeitgeist we're talking about. That ferment of last summer, of everything that was going on at the same time. Yeah. There was so much to talk about. It's like, it's all interlinked. It's like, it shows you how massive the white power structure really is. And the different enemies of African people globally. And I was like, this thing is like a setup. It's not just individual people doing their little... Man are in a system. Yeah. That's by design. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you mean.
And it's like, this platform needs to be a space where we can come and do solution-based thinking. So as much as we highlight and educate, it's like solution-based in like the education is the solution. Does that make sense? Yeah. It isn't necessarily like we got the answers because we're still learning ourselves, but the conversation is the start.
Yeah. Were you... So like I'm getting the vibe that you was inspired by like the stuff that you were reading. You were finding how much was like deep rooted within our history and within who we are right now, that you know you found like you discovered a love for it, like a love that you probably had before but you didn't know how to describe it, and then you were like, I want to be able to have the discussions on how to sort of bring that out and how to unify our people and to make sure that we're in a safe space. Like how much of it was that, and then also like what might have been going on around you in terms of what you know as a podcast, because like doing a podcast is like, it's become a big thing in recent times, isn't it? Like how much did you how much podcasts do you watch like in general, and then how much was that influencing what you wanted to do? I
definitely believe the podcast boom, as you might call it, definitely influenced my thinking, because that is the most tangible format right now. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? That definitely influenced my thinking. But I've even shifted the type of podcast that I listen to and watch, because I used to listen to podcasts beforehand. They will now be like free shots. It will be JPB, Joe Budden podcast.
Oh, is that, I didn't even know that was
Yeah,
abbreviation.
I just had to get that right.
Okay.
And of course, half caste.
Yeah.
But now it's been shifting. I watch stuff like Africa Now. I watch stuff like African Liberation Media. And it's not just all pro-black podcasts, but it's just other stuff to widen my palette.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to widen your palette. I think it's good to have one perspective, but you don't want to get too dogmatized, too dogmatic in how you think, because I think that can be dangerous. And I think there's so many different facets of the stuff that we're dealing with. There's so many different schools of thought. There's so many different ideologies within this black freedom movement thing that man are talking about. There's so many different schools of thoughts to do it, and it's like there's not really much platform speaking right now. It's like a podcast makes sense because I feel like my voice can be useful, and I feel like this might sound a bit cliche. I feel like I got a call
Like a
from
calling.
a higher place.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe. I genuinely believe that, and I felt like it was the right thing to do. It genuinely felt like I got a call from God and the ancestors, and they literally just told me like, yo, it doesn't matter what form, but you need to do this. You need to carry on with what you're doing. This is the right path. You know what I'm saying? You understand the point when things feel right?
Yeah, that's what you were saying to me at the beginning, innit? And when I heard that, I'm not even gonna lie, I was...
You like, what?
Not kind of, I was like... Oh no, I don't like where this is going. No, do you know what it was for me?
Wait,
do you know
that's
what it was
honest.
for me? Nah, do you know what it was for me? Because I was still on the... I don't know, I think I was still on the music thing, innit? I was on the music thing, yeah, and not like on the music thing, like I'll get into my story in a bit, but like my main story for me, the way my thing was going, I was still looking at Lewis as a musician, innit? So when I started hearing him reading into more and more stuff, he was talking about other things, yeah. At first I was like,
What's going on?
oh no.
No, and just some prior context, because it's related to how we knew each other. For those who don't know,
Yeah.
we met at music uni. We met at uni. We are music friends first and foremost.
Yeah.
So your whole idea on that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You only know me through music. So
Yeah.
when you're hearing this stuff, you're thinking,
Bro,
what
it got
the
to a point,
hell?
yeah, we did the EP, right? And like, by the time it was actually coming out, yeah, because we were talking and we were waiting for it to release and everything, yeah. By the time it came out, yeah, I'm calling him. He's not even talking to me about music anymore. It's just about, yeah, bro, I was reading this. You see what's happening online, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm there thinking, bro, there's a whole EP
EP,
out,
you
like,
need to promote it. Like,
to
we
promote
do
it,
it.
G, we did. Like,
Which
what
makes
is
sense.
actually going on?
Which is
But-
actually a natural reaction.
yeah, it was. But then I think the way I've even just handled that and the way I've like been a part of it is like, you know, I'm glad to just sit and witness and be a part of it and to just join this ride, because for me, so like my whole journey was like doing this podcast for me is like just a way of building confidence, being able to speak on things that I care about. Before I even started this kind of thing, like podcasting for me was just something that like I would listen to. Like at first it was just like a little thing that I started to get into. More and more people start talking about it. I'd be like, oh, okay, like podcasting. Like I think the most popular one that people would mention to me was the Joe Rogan podcast. Or
I've heard that before. Definitely listened to it before.
there was one on like Complex, innit? But that was when Joe Budden was there and it was still a thing. It was kind of nonsense, but at the same time,
It was
like
kind of a TV show. It was kind of like an internet show. It wasn't really a podcast.
it wasn't a podcast, but like the way they were formatting it, if it was in that kind of scene in it, like you could technically relate to that. And it was cool to watch, but I didn't think I was gonna get into anything like that. And then just off the conversations that we were having, and even at uni as well, you know, when we'd all sit, like all of our friends in the green room, we'd just be screaming and that, like bare banter. It was jokes, but within that, there was always something there that, like a serious topic that people could get into and talk about.
It was a wicked debate.
Debate.
Inside that green room. It was a wicked
They didn't like
debate.
us there still. We
Nah.
were just loud.
But anyway, back to you.
But it was still a thing, like, even though the conclusion was always just like nonsense, it was just stupid, it was still interesting to be a part of. But I never really got too engaged with it, just because I felt like my voice was just not, like, I didn't know if I had the right information at the time, or I just felt my voice wasn't really that important to the conversation. But listening to Lewis talk about these things, understanding where he's coming from, you know, getting involved in the discussion myself, because us two having the conversation, we've got a good rapport, and we talk. There's a respect for each other. Like, we don't just like shoot each other down or try to impose our views on one another. It's like, I'm gonna hear you out, then you can hear me out, and then we can just talk about it from there. And because I felt comfortable having the discussion with him and he came to me with the podcast idea, I thought, you know what? Let's go for it. And, you know, looking at it now, it's a good thing that I did because being able to come on here and just talk, you know, like I don't necessarily consider myself like a super smart person or the person that you can come to for like advice or anything, but, you know, I can have a view on something or I can speak on something that I feel about deeply and people can at least relate to that. You know, and I think that's important.
That has to be respected because a lot of people rush to talk about things, and I think we both iron that out in our platform of we'll wait.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of stuff that we could have ran and jumped and spoke about.
There's stuff that's happening now as well.
Even
the
right
timing
this
is crazy.
second, and we're not even going to mention it.
No.
Because it's no disrespect to those people. It's just that that ain't the platform for that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not the time, no.
And I feel like if you don't know, leave it.
Exactly.
Because it's all good how you feel about something, but how you feel isn't concrete evidence. I deal 90% of the time of concrete evidence.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be some emotion tinged in with that because I'm a human being. I'm not a fax printer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I defo try my best to go off what the evidence is. I don't try base my position before the evidence. And I think more people, and if you don't know about something, you should just say you don't know. I think real smart people, yeah, honest to God, more smart people say, you know what, I don't even know about that. Like Akala, he was on a TV show. He said, I don't know about that. Why are you not asking me about that? And they kept it moving. There's a historian called Robin Walker. Super intelligent. He says, I don't know too much about that. They kept it moving. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's only the people who want to appear smart or want to appear or whatever the buzzword is for the zeitgeist that we're in, the time period that we're in, that epoch, it will come and talk about, yeah, but I heard and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I hear that. But there's two different things. And I'm also one that's quite lax in terms of opinions. How you feel about something that's not important, that's not based on facts is cool. Because I remember I spoke to you about a clubhouse room where there was a person that we both know. Came and shot down some gal for her opinion on something. I'm not even going to reference the room it was in because that's too much information. Because I don't even try to give people like this.
I'm laughing like I was even in that room, but it's because I can picture it.
No,
already.
he can visualize it because we both know this person. And it's like, you've shot someone down for something that's clearly just opinionated. There's nothing to do with no statistics. There's nothing to do like it's harmful. It's how I feel. It's me. And you said, people with stupid opinions. What do you mean people with stupid opinions? What, blood? You don't have to always be... People love to hear themselves.
They do.
We all love to.
Yeah, like I do, but I don't. It's a weird thing, man. Like I like hearing myself. I like hearing other people say like, oh, like you sound like you're very, like if I'm talking about something and I'm like bare passionate or something, and it's like you're very passionate about something, or you know, oh, like you have like a very, I'm not even gonna say it like that, but people say, oh, you got a very nice voice. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, I guess it. And JJ, you see that one there? I know, yeah, you know how we'll bust it? Cause no, as soon as we get guests as well, and you start getting
I've had it though, man. People said it like I
big
can't
man
deny that.
thing.
Anyways, people say them kind of things and I appreciate it. But then when I go to listen to my voice on a recording or something, I'm just like, how can you like? And I'll be talking the most. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just like just words are coming out my mouth, and I'm just like, what? Like why are you saying that? And I don't know. Like I just waffle sometimes, and it puts me off. I'm just like. That's why the whole editing process was just wild for me because I'm listening to my voice and it's like...
He's trying to chop out every single bit.
I'm just... Yeah, man. I'm sitting there thinking I need to skip this part, bro, because this is just... Wow. Like, I'm not saying anything like mad or anything. It's just the fact that like I'm talking for so long and just in my head like criticize myself so much that
Which
it's
is
like,
natural though.
It's natural, but it's like like I'm just start thinking like, why did I say that? Like why am I... Like, why?
I therefore have those moments, especially listening back, because for me, I had to listen to it while it's on Spotify.
Yeah,
so I'm listening back on Spotify, thinking,
like tell me what
harsh. You didn't have to say that.
Yeah, like what was season 1 like for you? Like recording it and then, you know, the process of us two like, you know, talking about how we're gonna put it out and when we put it out and, you know, like going back and forth, like when I was editing, like telling you about certain things that you know, might need to come out, or like how is it for you, the process?
I think the process was a very intriguing one. I think the process was quite insightful because I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how I sound, A. I never realised how I sound. And B, I realised a lot of where my and people might not think I have blatant insecurities, but it's just like hearing myself is like, okay, you know what, I'm actually happy. I'm actually got myself out there. I'm speaking. It's quite a brave thing to do, especially like someone like me. I've got a stammer, so when I'm coming out and talking, man, I'm just talking. People be surprised to hear that, maybe or maybe not. It's like if you know me, you know me. You get me. But it's like being able to do that and talk and be passionate and clear. It's like I'm actually. This is technically public speaking to an extent. The only difference is there's no crowd.
Yeah, not a lot of people are actually like hearing it like that.
But it's like I'm putting myself out there in the most honest reflection I can do. In regard to the editing process, hearing back the things that we had to take out was quite funny. Because most of it was quite hilarious.
Yeah, some of it was just
bare funny. It's like, but it's understandable in the wrong context. It can be misconstrued.
Yeah.
But when I heard it's like, it's not that deep.
It's not, it's like conversations that we would just have like to ourselves in it, but like to anyone else would be like.
That's the thing though, and we had to be very careful, and that's what I learned as well, is getting the balance of we can't just talk like we're not on a platform, because even though it's ours technically, we're still on Spotify. So there's couple conversations that can't be had on Spotify, and now even on video, there's certain things that can't run on video as well.
Almost though, because this is why I feel like our perspectives differ, because like when I was doing it, right, I just came on the thing of like, I'm just going to chuck myself onto it. Like, I'm not going to think too much about what I want to say and how I want to say it. Because the podcast that I listen to now, like, definitely my favourite one right now is Half-Cast Podcast with Chucky and Poet and Savage Dan. Like, that for me is like kind of the epitome of how a podcast should be. Like, them men are just able to come in a room and start talking with whoever they find interesting. Like, they just pull people from like different corners of the UK, mainly just the UK, and they're like, yo, come have a conversation with us and start talking. And they're not like mad, like brazen with it. They're not just coming on and being like, hey yo, why are you talking about they don't come on a rudeness or nothing. But like when they talk, it's curious, isn't it? It's just pure curiosity. Like they just want to know. And I just thought like, if I'm able to come on a podcast and do that, it's how I would normally approach a thing as anyways. Like if I'm coming to someone and I'm asking them about it, I'm gonna just ask you about it. Like if I really want to know, that's just how I'm gonna ask you. So yeah, to be able to do that and jump on a podcast, that's what I was thinking of. And in terms of what you're saying as well, like us not having our own platform technically, like definitely I agree with you, and we have to be careful about how we approach certain topics. But I don't want to jump in a topic and then be half. Like for me, like I'm not a person to jump in and be half-hearted. Like I don't like that because it's so like you're gonna be wishy-washy with it. You're not even gonna get to the point of why you're having the conversation. You're just gonna talk for the sake of talking, and then hope that someone's gonna get what you're talking about. But it's never really the case.
You don't get cancelled, and hope because
hope you don't get cancelled, but then hope that like somebody on the other side of on the other side of on the other side of the thing is gonna listen and get what you're saying, but they might not, or they'll hear it and they'll be like, bro, you should have attacked the topic harder. You should actually
just leave it,
or just leave it exactly.
And that's why I've been very strict on what I talk about and what we talk about. Yeah. And you've even brought stuff to me, and I brought stuff to you, and we've both said on occasions, nah, I don't want to talk about that because we're gonna be half-hearted or it's gonna be wishy-washy, and we're gonna have to dance around the houses. Yeah, we need to attack things that we're really gonna come 100%, and it's not necessarily coming extra militant or even coming and not compromising. It's just essentially having perspectives that we believe. It's about being believable. It's about I mean what I say. Yeah, but it's not overly emotional. Yeah, it's I come from a stance of facts. Yeah, which I think is the balance that some people lose because they just go behind the mic and just talk, which is quite a good approach in terms of some things, but some things it doesn't really make sense.
It does depend on the person as well, because what they want to come on and talk about more time. It's not like a full reflection of them, but if every episode you want to come on and talk about what's going on the TL today, what's happening in the Shea Bar, what's happening there, it's like, yo,
allow me. I'll say it quite
because
really
and
simply.
that's your everyday.
I'll
then.
say it quite plain and simply. Allow me.
That might just be your everyday. No, I'm not here to judge you and say that's wrong or bad or whatever.
It's got nothing to do with them. Me.
It's just
Allow
like
me.
there's other things
Allow
to talk
me.
about. Do you know what I mean? They'll have that conversation on the TR and you can go on and continue the conversation there. But
yeah, if that's someone else's platform, that's someone else's platform.
Yeah,
Don't ask me to bring it to mine, because I have mine. They can have theirs where they do the roundups and whatever. Cool. I can't even knock them because that's theirs. But I'm saying, don't bring that to me, because you know how we're rocking around here.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I do like it sometimes. I'm not
yeah, because people like entertainment though.
Yeah,
so
no,
I
it's
can
true,
understand
it's true.
it, but there's tasteful and untasteful. Some things are funny.
Some things are funny.
Some things are
funny.
But some things are like, nah, you didn't even need to talk about that.
Yeah.
And
especially as it happens. Like that's
my main one. Because I don't even mind talking about something when all the information's out there. Because then you can give a better perspective on it. But you lot are rushing to when something drops on the TL.
Drops.
Like an hour later, I'm seeing man recording a podcast.
And you're reading the tweets as well. You're like, I read this tweet, this
yeah, man.
this one here.
Dog.
Analyzing tweets. Like, I think the whole concept of like tweeting as the thing comes out and just like trying to capture the moment in just a few short words is like, it's good in a way, but it's a bit backwards because it's like you can't capture something that's so... Yeah, because it's so complex. There's so many layers behind it. How can you think that a certain number of characters on the screen is going to be able to like show what it is that's happening?
But that's the world we live in, bro. Yeah. We live in a fast food, easily digestible world. Everything is instant. Everything is 2 seconds, and a lot of stuff lacks context. And a lot of people talk without context. And a lot of people miss context. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and it's not just on Twitter. You can take that to any one of the social media apps. You can even take it on a Clubhouse. If you're in a room and you've heard the whole thing, you can give the full perspective of what happened. If you jump into a room and leave or whatever, or if you even screen record 15 seconds of a point, that can sound brazy. That can sound disgusting or deplorable or whatever. If not given the right context behind it. Do you get what I'm saying? But that's the world we live in. We want things now. Like, if I even take it off the social media example and take it to real life for concerts, how people view concerts now is this.
That upsets me so much.
It's all the cameras. It's no enjoying the vibes. And I realised I did that. When I realised I did that, going through my old snaps, it'll be like 60 snaps of Carnival. I'm still enjoying. But man are just there like this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, blood, that's not normal.
That's really
sick. I'm attached to this thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad we had the social dilemma episode. Because for me, it's like, I'm now...
I still need to watch that one.
Nah, you should definitely listen to that.
I think everybody listening now should definitely go back to that episode because it really
it
opens your eyes.
Word.
To so much of what's going on in the tech world. But do you know what? Yeah, that actually leads me to my next question. What for you was your favorite episode? Favorite episode to record, and then favorite episode that has come out and you think is like really good to listen to?
I'll say my favorite to record was the episode about Marcus Rashford. I'll tell you why. Because at the time, we both agreed it felt like the best episode just from a strictly podcasting standpoint. Yeah, just how we bounced and everything felt right at the time. Also, the lightheartedness, and we was able to bring in certain points, and it was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did enjoy that in terms of recording at the time. What the best one that came out after listening to it was either the Breonna Taylor. I think we really did that justice, and I was scared to do that one. I'm gonna be very, very honest with you, because I really wanted to do that one justice. Africa was bleeding, and I think this is... I spoke to JJ. JJ loves this one. The one about the black male sexual prowess.
Yeah.
That was a good one in terms of the Black Full Monty. And even the one about is black murder normalized. Because I think we had a great conversation. But now things are going back to normal. I'm seeing the same practices going on again. Yeah. Which I don't even blame people for, because we've been programmed.
It's a trend, innit?
You get what I'm saying? Like, we're really getting back into the same destructive behaviours But if I'm to bring that up now, I'm now no fun. I'm now it's just music. No, big man thing. Man, them tell me I'm lying. Tell me.
That's gonna be your number one catchphrase on this podcast, you know.
Man, them am I
And
lying?
then tell me I'm lying.
Man,
Tell
them am
me
I
I'm
lying?
lying.
Big man thing. Because
It's gonna be that and another one as well. As soon
Because-
as you say it.
and I don't blame people because it's like certain things of the culture is sweet. It looks very, very nice, and I think we as black people have this fascination with how things look. Imagery. If it looks good, it is good to us. Whereas a lot of times there's a insidious agenda behind what's going on.
Chatting about that yesterday, no?
We was literally, and I think we need to analyze what's going on and how. Because I'm not saying it like, yeah, I'm so perfect, man. I'm pro black and man don't listen to that. Nah, if something's wicked, man, I listening to it. You see it. Like we were just playing. I'm saying, Donny's delivery's mad from a musical standpoint. It's mad, and obviously lyrically, he's doing his thing.
There's beauty. There's a beautiful thing within it. That's the thing.
Yes, but when you analyze what it's doing and who genuinely it does really affect, because I just go off the basis that a struggling people don't have the luxury for using art for art's sake. I hope that makes sense. If it don't, I can explain it to you. What I mean is that struggling people don't have the luxury, the right to just make art for art. Their art needs to be saying something. It needs to be, doesn't have to always be uplifting, but there needs to be reasoning behind it. If you make everything look glossy and cool, there's no reasoning behind it, and we can just dismiss it as, oh, it just looks cool, it sounds cool, it's just this. You know what I'm saying?
What does it then become though?
What do you mean?
Like if the art isn't saying anything, if it's just for the sake of looking nice and
It becomes
being
fast food products. It gets to the state we're in. I talk about hip hop because I love hip hop, and I'm in a weird relationship with it right now because I'm having to deal with the fact that the thing that I love is kind of destructive, and it's kind of how it started is destructive. Not even like the whole excuse of back in the day, man, them used to rap. Nah, if you go and listen,
really go
you don't play Biggie. Like
It wasn't
he
really
wasn't
that.
exactly talking about roses and candy. Like
Nope.
you get what I'm saying, and it's about coming to the realization. And I don't blame people, cause it's the cultural universe that we live in, innit?
Yeah.
So getting back to my favorite episodes now, cause we went a little bit around houses.
Nah, but you know, I want to come back to that conversation.
Go on,
We'll, another time in it. But like the whole thing of
Go on.
you know, for a struggling people, like you can't do art.
I'll explain what I mean.
What was it? Yeah, say that again. The whole sentence.
You can't do art for art's sake. Like, you can't do luxury art for art's sake.
That's interesting.
You don't make art just for art because you're in a struggle. And otherwise, you're due to add to your own oppression. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. That's very interesting.
Yeah, literally.
That
How
is very
about you in terms of your favourite episode to record, though? And then your favourite episode once hearing it.
Oh, that is hard, man. I had one. Now I don't know because they all kind of just, bro, for real, they all just sound the same. Like I'm just talking, but like it was a way. It was a thing of like it got better, like as we did more and more.
I agree with that.
I don't know if the best episode to record. It might have been the Marcus Rashford episode. I also think the one on the social dilemma, because for me that was not the first time I think I led a conversation, but it was the first time that I brought the topic there and I said, we'll watch the documentary and then we'll go through the talking points that like I make up. I did my notes on it and I came in and I did it. I don't know if I thought I did well or if I did something.
I think you led that very well, and I think it was your first time leading it because most of the topics I bring, and then I just naturally just led it because of how the research went up. I talk the most, and it's not even a lot. Sometimes it's not even like man will just talk bare. It's just where the research leads. It's like I need to kind of lead this because otherwise, the amount I've got to say, it's got to make sense. Yeah, does that make sense? But sorry, you're talking.
No, thank you. Because I obviously, like I said it before, like I'm just very critical of myself. Excuse me. I'm very critical of myself. I don't like to.
It's the chair.
Is it?
Sorry, carry on.
Man. Yeah, I don't like to like big myself up too much if I'm doing something like for the first time, like just coming off of it and saying, yeah, I did all that. But I guess you know, coming off the back of listening to it, and we'd already been doing the podcast for a while now. So when I listened to the documentary, like I literally just watched it, and you know, I thought this would be a good thing to talk about. So the whole concept of doing it and making it into an actual episode was so organic that I thought that part was good.
Which doc was this again?
The Social Dilemma.
Social Dilemma. You should watch
Netflix
that if you've not
documentary.
seen it. It's
Was
brazy.
Netflix one?
Yeah.
It's brazy.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. And it was so informative that it made me think, like, you know, there's not too much that I could do wrong with it. And so when we did do the episode, it was like, I think we've covered like everything we needed to. And there was even a point as well where I said something, right? And I think you kind of, you came with like a counter argument that I needed to watch as well. It was about how the news presented sort of like political, political news and what goes on in other countries and sort of their agendas. And I sort of, you know, was coming on the thing of, you know, like what we're seeing now is, you know, a country and their dictator and da-da-da-da-da. And then you came on and said, but you gotta actually watch, because you see with the news, they have their own agenda. So they're going to present it in a way that makes it seem that, you know, that country might be doing something else, but the news is always going to say something.
Never know, boy.
You never know. And that opened my eyes as well, and it made me think, not even just open my eyes, that's the kind of thing like I know, but I don't really think about it too much. Because
It's hard to think about it because you trust these people.
Yeah, the news is just where we get our general source of information
You
from.
genuinely expect them to be impartial. But people forget agendas are in everything.
Exactly.
I have an agenda. I have no reason to lie to you about it.
Yeah.
My agenda's very clear.
Yeah.
Once you hear me talk, once you see the stuff that I post, it is very clear. I don't need to hide it.
Yeah.
But watch the people who come and try to position themselves as if they don't have an agenda because they're lying.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, like that when I was editing and listening to it, it was like, yeah, that probably was a good episode to record and to be a part of, just because, you know, I was able to come on my own, not my own, but like on my own sort of, you know, agenda of like trying to bring a good discussion to the table. That was not something that we were doing. A lot of our stuff was to do with like sort of like our community, like the black community, and you know, topics and stories around us. But that specifically was just about like technology and social media and like how we were affected by it, not just like black people, but like everyone, and then how that affected like different groups of people specifically as well, in and around each other. And the fact that I could come on and do that, made mistakes, but you know, I could learn from it as well. I think that was a good episode to just be a part of. But my favorite to listen to, don't know, bro. I really don't know, because they're
guys,
all just their own thing, innit?
Guys,
like,
it's different for him because he actually had to seep through audio.
How long was the thingy episode?
Jeez, the music ones. How have we skipped all of that, bro? We're all talking about the serious ones and that.
I'll
Yeah,
say,
serious ones,
basically,
hey.
How long was the social episode?
I think that was maybe like an hour or something like that. That wasn't too long.
I'm gonna have to see for myself.
In terms of the music ones, though,
The music ones, they were jokes. Okay, no, let me think now.
The music ones are in parts.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
have
were
to
in
be in
parts.
parts. Otherwise, there'll be like 6
Not
hours
even
of
gonna
audio.
lie. The actual recording, we'll get into that as well. Well, no, I'll say that now. The recording process for me was like, it was fun to be a part of, but it was at the same time it was mad.
Because it weren't planned and it just got to
We
like
didn't plan it,
10, 11 at night. We're like, we're still here.
Bro. Well,
Nah,
I'll tell you
for
now,
real.
I don't know if the people know this, but the Kendrick Lamar episode, we started recording at like 6, 7. We finished at 2 a.m.
Yeah, that was like
2, 3 a.m.
7 hours of audio.
It was so long. I don't know if you can even hear it, because when I was editing it, like, it didn't seem too obvious, but like by the time we got to like the last album, I was
Done.
bro, I was
Yeah.
finished.
I think I was done as well. So
Wait, so you done all of them in one?
All of them in one sitting.
Yeah.
But see, I was stupid because the way we did it, yeah. And I remember I suggested it as well. I said we gotta like cover every song and talk about
And
every song
play
and
every song a little bit as well.
And then we did it, and I was like, why did we do this?
Yeah, basically.
Wait, so you basically had to cut out every song?
No, he didn't.
No.
He still played them.
As in, we played every song, then we talked about every song, then we moved on to a different song.
And this was like for 5 albums, bro. It's like for 5 albums.
Serious.
And we're talking about top tier artists with top tier content.
And
Think
it's
about lyrical
Man are breaking down metaphors and similes.
to Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
Bro, that breakdown was mad.
I love that album.
It was mad.
still
But
love that
we
album.
love the album.
I still love that
We love the
album.
album.
I'm not gonna lie.
But it was mad.
But yeah, the one thing I'd suggest is how we did the Drake episode, or near enough that
That
sort of
was
styley.
fine. That was fine.
That
In
sort
fact,
of,
that's not my favorite
Nah,
episode.
it's
but
not my favourite
it's
episode.
among my favorite, because it was the first time we were just talking about music on a podcast platform, and I think that was
It was definitely a special
closer
experience.
it's close to the way I want to be having them kind of discussions, because we just talked about his albums as a whole and not every song, and just like where he was at musically.
Yeah, especially in
funny.
terms of Drake is very interesting, because I do know there's a large contingent of Drake stans.
My favorite episode is the top 4 debate. That's it. Yeah.
I think the top 4 debate was wicked because we was coming with it.
What was my top 4 now that I'm thinking about it?
I don't remember my own shit.
I think I said J. Cole last, which I might need to change now.
What, like of those 4 artists?
Yeah.
That's easy, man. That's
Because you like us, our
Wait,
top 4 was
like of all
kind of similar.
time.
No, just for them 4.
No, of all time in terms of like the last 10 years or their whole discography.
Their whole discography.
Because I was gonna say,
'Cause
Kanye West has been asked for about a decade.
That's what you said on the podcast, didn't it? Then I said like we should do it so that we take in all of their discography.
Yeah, 'cause
because
obviously-
it'll be peak to just take out Kanye's his first 10 years.
Yeah, like his first 6 to 8 years was GOAT level, except for the fact that he didn't write it. Kanye. Rhyme Fest is all I'm gonna say. all I gotta say is Rhyme
Definitely
Fest.
came with it. But I think if I had to change it now, I'd probably put Drake last. Because I'm not sure. You know,
Drake stands. Don't fear Drake stands.
He's based on the guys you've covered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's J.
Okay,
Cole,
so J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick, and who else?
Kanye. I think he has to go last.
Why'd you smile?
I genuinely think he has to go last.
Who, Kanye?
Drake.
Oh, Drake. Oh, yeah. Bro, do you know what it is, yeah?
Drake's got bangers.
But we're not talking
but
about
it's not just
that.
bangers anymore.
This is
like,
this is where the conversation
it's not
gets
just bangers
convoluted, yeah,
anymore.
and man get confused.
Do you know what it
What
is?
are you basing it on?
Everything. When we're talking about album sales, we're talking about lyricism, we're talking about flow, we're talking about everything.
About business aspect, everything.
We could talk about business aspect where it may bump up Drake higher, but then,
What Kanye?
but Kanye's business sense is a little bit, it gets a bit murky.
Kind of. I mean, in terms of like what he's done with Yeezy, you can't really dispute.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm talking
Can never
about
dispute that.
good, because that had all the best artists and now.
Oh, bro, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
Artists should not be able to run their own labels because they don't know what to
I
do with
disagree
it.
with that though, because Master P, Jay-Z, I disagree with that.
No, but I mean like superstar artists. When they've got the vision for other artists, that's fine, innit? But if you're like a Drake or a Kanye, yeah, and you're running your own label,
Because-
it's different.
because they run
they're
back into the
essentially
ground.
running it for you.
You
are the label. Everyone else is just there. You're sort of like imagine like you know in what am I thinking of?
I think
Like
I
in
disagree
sports,
with that.
like when you got like a team in it and you got like everyone walking out the tunnel and they're ready to play and everything, yeah. You got the superstar walking out in front and that, or he's just walking like as a thing and the camera's following him. Everyone else is just a sideshow.
I
It's like
understand that, and I think you gave 2 great examples of man that shouldn't of ran labels. Drake has kept Party Next Door and all that man there inside the OVO. And like I can't even say this because of the word sweat. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but those who watched DJ Academics years ago know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, man.
I'm not gonna, I don't think I can say it anymore.
But
Yeah, he's kept him locked up inside that cupboard for years. And he literally only lets man out to...
I don't think it's a thing
feature.
where
No, not busting for a feature, you're busting him to write him bangers.
yeah. No, but I don't think it's a thing that I think Party Next Door genuinely just does what he wants to do in his own time. Because he, for time, wasn't doing anything, and then he did work. He wrote it for Rihanna.
He's such an artist, man.
He
They're
can,
weird.
he can do that.
Bro,
but then,
artists are weird. And I'm saying that as artists are
yeah,
weird.
artists are very weird.
Artists
But,
are weird.
You know, in terms of the other artists, yeah, like he doesn't market them the way if he's
'Cause he don't care.
If he's supposed to be like the head of the label and doing things, yeah, I get that you're an artist and you're supposed to care about your own stuff as well, but you're the face of OVO. You're supposed to be treating all the other people within your label as if they're like on not
not
on
a
your level, but at
businessman
least
like
as
that,
talented
yeah.
and as gifted as you sort of put yourself out to be in it. So
I said
I
P's
guess
about to be L shots.
I guess if no, I'm just saying it like that, innit? But I
I'm
guess
joking.
if I have to have a criticism of Drake on the business side of that, it's OVO, you're not running it the way
And
it should be
Kanye,
run.
both of them
There are
run
some-
their labels rubbish.
Exactly,
J.
there are some-
Cole is a great label owner. Or
Well, like co-owner, innit? Because it's
Okay.
him and his manager.
Yeah.
So that right there probably is a thing.
that's
that
the
Drake should
reason
be
why.
doing.
That's the reason why
Drake
he's
should
able.
have someone that's just handling
But
that.
he's got a manager. That's why it don't make sense.
So who do you think's had the best? Because Wasn't DVSN signed to?
Division. They are, and I think they do really good as well.
But it's not the same as
because they're in their own lane.
a-
R&B's a different kind of thing.
also,
Innit?
it's not the same as having Ari Lennox, JID, Earth Gang.
Okay, Dreamville
Is
top-
brazy.
Top tier.
In terms of
And
like,
then she just got what? I think she got number 1.
she is the best
Is it?
female.
For what?
I can't lie,
Let me
vocally.
double check.
For what though?
Vocally,
Because her album came out like 2 years ago. She should have been. I don't know what she got passed over for an award, like the Soul Train Award or like
Yeah.
BET or something.
Okay, maybe.
I don't
know
know.
what?
She
I'm
should
not
have won,
gonna lie.
but it's not a big deal, innit? But
vocally, she's the best female singer out here. I can put money on that. I don't care what no one says.
I think you're right. I can't. There's no one else. I can
No
think
one
of. Ari
else.
Lennox,
And
Ari Lennox
do
singing.
not bring me someone like. Just don't bring me. I'm talking about in the genres of music. Man, are talking about.
Summer Walker.
I think vocally she's getting smoked by Ari. Vocally.
I wouldn't say smoked, but she's not. She
ain't a strong vocally, bro.
But she's good.
But
she's
but
good.
production wise and I think in terms of her song, I'm not sure if she writes her songs. Like,
She writes her song. She writes.
well
her
then,
songs.
if it's her songwriting, she's a great songwriter.
She's very great.
Summer Walker's a great songwriter.
I don't want to talk about her production because it will get.
We got London on the track.
Stop. Let's not. Yeah, wait, we've gone into a whole other conversation. The top 4 debate, yeah, I think we will definitely have them in future
Regularly,
episodes
yeah,
because it will
we're
always
defo
change.
gonna
Like
have-
mine's definitely changed now, but I think yeah. What else did I want to talk about in terms of season 1?
Take your time, brother.
Yeah, man. Like, what are the kind of things that we could have improved on? Because like I say, I'm always critical of myself. I could name you a whole list of things, but like the things that you could constructively say, like what we're trying to do differently
I
going
think
forward.
I'll start personal, then branch out.
Yeah.
Personally, I could be a better listener. I feel like at the very beginning, I was cutting you off.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
If you could hear JJ now, hey.
All the time.
Literally. I'd also say that I might have. I don't know. I feel like I was proud.
He's waving to you still.
What are you saying?
Speaking to the mic.
My bad. Apologies, people. What am I saying? In terms of improving, I just think there could have been more collaboration before we got on. I thought, because how we originally did it was notes, then we come there. Then we showed each other the notes, and then we do it. I think if we collabed with the notes, maybe it will be bouncing and smoother. I don't know how that would work though.
No, that's something we talked about like in the middle of the thing when we eventually got to a point where it was like, we should be sharing the notes and talk about what we're going to talk about
Yeah,
before we get on.
but like, I mean, make a share point where we can add to each other's notes or.
Oh, like an actual, just like a whole thing
Yeah.
for us to both. Yeah. I mean,
Maybe I
it's
don't
techie,
know.
innit? Because we've set up like a whole. I mean, I set up like a Google Drive thing, and
I'm
we have the
so
stuff
sorry,
there, innit?
people, because I know I'm the reason that's looking barren right now. Cause I just
Oh,
forgot.
yeah, that's the whole thing, yeah.
Because most of the resources was topics I brought,
Yeah.
and I've not added to the resource page.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, shout out to the people that actually went and looked at it and said, "Yo, where is the stuff?"
Yeah, I've got them in it on my phone. I just need to put them onto the
Because you were
thing.
all lost for no reason, fam. It was our fault.
Literally.
But yeah, so yeah, you mentioned the stuff personally. What about the other things?
In terms of the platform, I don't think us lot could have helped this at the time, but I think recording over Zoom is mad.
Whack. It's garbage. I'm just being real.
Well,
I don't like it.
You heard that, people.
It's
He said
bro. Zoom is for people having
whack.
business meetings, doing their thing over work because you're working from home and that pandemic and that. But for a whole podcast sitting, yeah, is because I remember I was doing Zoom meetings with a friend of mine. Shout out to Kashay. We were having like meetings just to talk about like where we're just going in our career in it, and that was the setting for that. That was fine. But even that, after a while, we were
got
both
tired.
like, "I'm tired, G. Like, let's
Yeah.
not do it."
Like it was even getting to a point where you told me, bro, I can't keep doing this.
I'm sick of this, man.
And me, I was like, I want to record another episode.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Because I just realised that podcasting might be my little bag.
Do you know what I- yeah.
I kind of enjoy it, as you
Yeah.
lot can tell.
and I enjoy it as well, but to jump on a Zoom call
is different.
and sit in it's so like talking to the cameras now and like letting people know what's going on. It's live because you're seeing us. We're vibing off each other. We're just having a conversation in it. But if you see how we were doing it, like I'm sat in my room while I'm
Like,
normally just every day.
I had to turn off the
and
cameras.
we had to turn off the camera.
We
We'd sit with the mic
had
and
to turn off the cameras because it got so depressing. Just.
Yeah, man.
That's how wicked it was. Nah, big man thing.
Yeah.
Bro. Like most of those episodes was just our vocal. We were literally just it was kinda like a phone conversation. That's how it.
But like a very, very long one, and I'm sitting here talking to my microphone, not even to anybody else.
Yeah.
My microphone, bro. I'm trying to have a good conversation, but it's like it just feels so dry. It's dry.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. 100%.
I agree with you, yeah, man. Like, yeah, that's the whole reason. Like, I wanted to, like, at a certain point, I was just like, we gotta like take stock and then come back again. But when we come back, we definitely gotta look at getting our own space and just.
I'm so glad this actually
Yeah.
came into fruition the way it did.
Yeah.
Because it's worked out perfectly.
Very.
To be honest.
Very.
So again, hold that JJ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
How about you though, in terms of your own personal ones?
Personally, should have written this stuff down because I'm always waffling now. I think, like in terms of, first of all, I think when we did the topics like serious ones, like you'd always come with the very deep rooted, very you had like a lot of background into what you was researching, and me knowing that like there'd be times with them. To be honest, there were times when I thought because he's coming with a lot of the heavy stuff, I didn't need to do too much with it. I could just come with a little bit of my own research, just look into things, and then just try to support what he was saying. And I felt like when I came on the episode, I was always underprepared. Like I would speak, but I wasn't speaking. Like
I get what you're saying.
you know, I wasn't speaking my mind.
He didn't bring his bag to school.
Yeah, you know, them ones there, like it's PE, and it's like I ain't got my PE bag. They're like, so what you gonna do?
I get what you're
Like,
saying.
what you doing?
You know what? It was tough though, because I kind of went hands on with it, and I didn't. I maybe should have opened up the floor a little bit.
No, but that was
maybe.
good because like with them topics, there's not much you could really open the floor to because like I agree with you in the sense of like when we have these kind of conversations, yeah, on serious topics, there's not a platform there you can just jump on and just start talking. Like you're coming with opinions and that because there's facts that need to be read out and put on display so that we can actually go from there.
And have a nuanced view.
Exactly. And what you were doing was very good and I like to be a part of that, that's what I wanted to do and I wanted to support that. But like me not doing the research kind of made it like, you know, he was talking and I'm there like, yeah. Like, I'll be really real. There were times he was talking, yeah. I knew what he was saying, but I didn't really get it. So I'd just be on the thing like, yeah. Anyways, like,
I do think that's important to understand exactly because I feel like I do lose a couple people with that.
Yeah.
And I tell people, if you don't understand something, I'll explain what I mean.
Yeah. And that leads me to my other thing as well. Like, in terms of improving, I think even now, like, just being very aware that I'm being recorded, yeah, you tend to move a certain way in it. Like, we were all joking and they're like, hey, how are we looking? Like, we good? Yeah. But that's a real thing because I'm on a, like, public platform. We've now moved into a visual thing. There's a camera on me. I'm just very aware.
YouTube, yeah, you lot gonna soon
Bro, I'm
see me
sweating,
and
man. It's
you'll soon see me
scary
on YouTube and I
still.
bread out
It's very
but let me not swear, you
scary.
see.
It's mad
Let me
scary.
not
Like
swear, you see.
yeah, like well the barbers ain't open, so obviously you're seeing us looking very ripped right now.
Like as I said, like at the very start of this episode, I'm still sexy regardless.
Tell them.
Like, and plus shape up once I get my thing pattern. Yeah.
No, I mean, but yeah, I think just to be more like it will come with time in it, but just to be more confident on my own platform, to be able to just talk normally, you know, as if I was having a normal conversation, but still like, you know, being aware of the conversations we're having. That's something I want to be doing going forward as well, because I definitely had moments where I was just kind of like not shook, but just like, you know, like I'm on a podcast, I should talk like this, you know. So yeah,
Good point. Very good point. In fact.
anything else is approved? There's a lot, but like I'm trying to think of like main things that we could bring now. I think, like you were saying, in terms of like how the flow of conversation went, like I think we both had our sort of version of how we wanted to start our podcast, and like it didn't, like we started and we just went into it well. I think we definitely should give ourselves props for that, but
I agree.
you know, we both had different views of how we wanted to do our podcast in it, and I think you had your view that sort of took over the podcast, and you know that was good for you to explore and to learn about yourself and how you wanted to approach the podcast scene. You know, I wanted to sort of impose a more conversational but still, you know, structured kind of conversation, like similar to how I was saying, like I like the half-cast podcast conversations where they could just come in and talk like normally. I wanted to do that more. But I wasn't able to bring that into the thing. Like I think it came from trying to bring more topics to the conversation. Like definitely the social dilemma. When I brought that, it was a little more conversational. I'm just asking questions and you're just going off of what you've read and watched and seen and what you know as well.
I do feel like that will happen a lot more in person. Because I feel like the ability to grab bare notes and just talk works better for a Zoom non-recorded in person.
Because you're not thinking of the non-verbal.
But now
dialogue.
I gotta think about my non-verbal communication.
You can't be sitting here with the notes like, and well, you know, we were saying this, and other people are sitting next to you like,
that's not gonna happen.
gee, like,
I might have a couple notes, but
it's not like a lot.
It'll mainly be something where I've read up on it to the point I might not even need the notes.
Just to check on it a little bit to see like what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be because I have a tendency to write essays. I do like to write. People who've seen,
Big up this guy, man. This guy's serious with it.
People who have seen my platform on Instagram, I'll usually give you a post.
He's very serious with it,
and
man.
then it's like a paragraph
I rate this guy.
explaining how like the whole world's mashed up basically.
Because you know this guy can talk, yeah, but he can talk, innit? He can talk, but in terms of in terms of, you know, actually writing something, you know, he can back it up with like written. He's very articulate, is what I'm saying.
I appreciate that.
Very articulate, but yeah, man.
I can't believe it. It's mad.
It's crazy.
Well, I'm glad you lot stayed with us for the first episode, if you did. But you probably did, because, you know, we're wavy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, peace and love, family. Everyone stay blessed, stay safe. And as soon as outside opens up, enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? One love. You know what I mean? We're gone. Experimentation podcast.